Alright guys, what is good? It is your girl, the OC Lash Fairy. Welcome to the OC Lash Fairy Unfiltered. So this is my YouTube series where I am just going to simply tell stories about things that have happened to me within the last few years. So the topic that we're going to talk about today is a time that I almost got kidnapped in New York. It was my first time there. So I want to say this is back in was it 2020 or 2021? It was one of those years, but it was early in the year. It was like February. I remember it was like February 3rd is when I flew in, and it was like one of like the biggest storms. My hair's a little crazy. I'm trying to fix this. It was like one of the biggest storms, and I was like super scared about coming in because it was like a big old storm, and they were just like, yeah, it's the biggest storm, and blah, 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 blah. So needless to say, I pull up. I have my two girls there. So one of my best friend's girls was getting surgery, so she was like helping her. We stayed at the Trump Towers, and we were like on I don't know, the 30th floor. Like it was super, super, super dope, super, super pretty. And this was my first time in New York. And it was like a minute that I had traveled. So normally I would travel to Texas. And so this was like my first time going to New York by myself. Granted, I was meeting my girls there. So needless to say, I get there. I ended up meeting some really dope guy on the airplane, and his friend was actually able to take me to my location. And so that was kind of cool. And so I didn't have to get an Uber or whatever. He just had his friend pick me up and whatever. So that was kind of cool. And honestly, I am a very fearless person, but I'm very cautious. I try to check vibes, and I felt like a good vibe with this person. So when he was like, oh yeah, we were talking on the ride on the plane for at least an hour. That's why I felt comfortable going into his friend's car, because he was like, yeah, that's where they're from, and blase, blase, blase. So I get there, and it's hella late, and I'm just yo, I need to eat first. So, and mind you, it's freezing. New York weather is whether it's in the summer or if it's in the winter, it's just it's two extremes. So, I've never really been to New York in the summer. I've experienced a few days where it was 75 degrees. That's the hottest that I've ever experienced it in New York. But this time it was freezing, and it was my first time really seeing snow, because the most that I saw snow was going up to Boulder Canyon or something like that. And so yeah, this was my first time actually seeing snow. And so I pull up to Manhattan, Trump Towers, and then there's across the street from the Trump Towers, there's this little Italian restaurant. And so I go, of course, you guys already know, I had to have a michelada, but it was really cool because they had, instead of having the restaurant inside, everything was outside. How they would have everything outside for whatever reason. And it was cool because I had my personal heater and a little blanket, and it was they made you feel super at home, or super comfortable, or whatever you want to call it. And so I was cool, whatever. I'm just giving you guys a rundown of how everything went. It was super snowy. I mean, it was so beautiful though. There was just snow on all the cars, all the trees were white. I had never experienced snow like that. And so you guys already know I had to buy some Timbs for New York, just for the plot. So I had my Timbs on. And yeah, everything was all good. So I ate there. And then after that, I was I probably didn't end up getting to the room till I don't know, 9 or 10 p.m. because of traffic. By the time that I had came in, I think it was already 5 or 6. And then I just stopped there to eat, and I had my bags and shit and whatever. So then after that, I see my girls, everything is good, and then the trip is going good. And so I had this thing where okay, so normally you'll never find me on no dating apps, but I was newly single, and I was just my baby's dad was just boring, and I just felt like we were just like growing apart from each other. And it'd be like that, you know? Like, he wanted kids, and I wanted to get married, and I gave him 2 kids, and I never got the ring. So by the 5th year, I was like, yeah, like, we're done, you know? Like, I don't know how much longer it's going to take for you to put a ring on my finger. So I was newly single. And so what I would do sometimes is, because I would teach in different cities. And so, so whenever I would teach in different cities, sometimes I would be alone, like, by myself and, like, super bored. I would download Tinder, and then, like, I would, like, you know, chop it up with some guys, and then kind of get a vibe, and then maybe, like, go on a date or something like that in public. So this is, like, I don't know, I want to say, like, this is, like, a few days before I leave. It was that point where, like, I was bored, and I was like, so I went on Tinder, and I started talking to this one guy, and everything was cool, and I was just like, yeah, like, you seem cool, like, I don't know, like, he was a musician, and I mean that was a little interesting, and then he was, like, a bartender, and, like, whatever, and I was just like, you know what, like, you're cool, he was cute, and he was like, yeah, like, we could, like, hang out tonight, and I'll take you to my friend's, like, strip club that he owns, he's like, and we'll, like, go have fun, because, like, I was like, yeah, like, and I was a dancer around this time anyway. So then, the next thing you know, so he comes, he picks me up, and, like, mind you, as he's picking me up, like, before I even get in the car, I answer the phone, and it's my girl, and she's like, hey, she's like, I need you right now, like, I'm in a situation, like, I really need you. And I was like, bro, like, I was just getting into the car with this freaking guy. So I was just like, okay, like, I told the guy, I'm like, hey, like, my girl needs me, I'm like, I don't know, whatever, she's in, like, an emergency situation, like, I need to go see what's good with her. So he was just like, he's like, well, I could just take you over there, like, if you don't mind. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's even better, because then I don't have to Uber. And he was cool. Like, he didn't seem like a kidnap. I don't know. But at the same time, like, you still don't know. Mind you, I'm taking this huge ass risk, like, getting in the car with someone that I don't know. So he ends up taking me there safely. And so I was like, okay, cool, bet, you know, like, step 1, like, you earn a little bit of my trust there. So then I'm there with my girl, and the spot, I forget the name. I think it was, like, called Stilettos. And that's where his friend owned the strip club at. And so he's just like, okay, whenever you're done, like, hit me up. And so, like, my girl was just like, there was, like, a situation that we had to handle. Then after that, it was, like, around, like, I want to say, like, it was, like, around, like, 12:45, like, 12:30, something like that. And I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna Uber myself over there. And he was like, no, like, I can Uber you. And I was like, no, like, I'll Uber myself, because it's really important for me to Uber myself, because I need to make sure that, like, we're going the right way, and just in case I need to report anything, and blah, 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 blah. So we're going, and mind you, around this time I was podcasting, and we were talking about, like, human trafficking, and how, like, just crazy shit happens. Like, crazy shit happens in different states. Like, I've heard crazy shit happening in, like, Atlanta, like, where, like, if they see that, like, you have money or whatever like that, like, or if they just see someone alone, like, they're gonna target you. And so there's been certain situations where, like, so they'll pick you up, and then, like, they'll be chatting with someone else on the side, and then, like, different cars will pull up on the side, and they'll be like, one car beside you, one car on the side, and then one car behind you, and they're, like, following you guys to wherever you're at, and then they end up taking you to a secluded place and human trafficking you, and you guys already know how that goes. And so I was very, very, very scared. I had pepper spray, and so then I was a little like apprehensive about going. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm in New York. Like, YOLO. Like, he was cool when he picked me up. Like, whatever. Like, I don't know. Let me just go. So I get into the car, and it's like this, I don't even remember. Like, he was a dark-skinned guy, and he didn't really speak that good of English. And so we're driving, and it's literally like, I don't know, I want to say like a 45 minute drive. And I was like, fuck. And it was over state lines, which I had no idea that we were going over state lines, you know. But in New York, like, state lines is nothing. It's like going from LA to OC, like in different parts of like New York. So we were kind of on the edge of it or whatever. So it was just like an easy drive to New Jersey. So I remember us passing state lines, and I'm looking at and I have 2 phones, and I'm looking at one phone, and I'm like, okay, everything's good. And then like, you know, just blase. And the next thing you know, like, I'm expecting him to stop. Because I see stilettos coming up. So I'm expecting him to stop. And he keeps going. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Like, wait, hold on. Like, am I missing something? Like, and I'm like looking at my map and on my phone. I'm like, no, like, that was a location. And I'm like, hey, so before I said anything, I rolled down my window to make sure that my window would roll down. And this is like after we passed it. So after we passed it, I rolled down my window, and then I kind of opened up my door to make sure that like the door is open, because I'm like, look it, either he's gonna turn around or I'm jumping out of this. And mind you, it is like there's like nothing out there. Like when you cross state lines, it's like nothing. It's like the boonies. It's like flat land, nothing but grass and trees, just all like down the like, bro, like. It's like anything can happen. And that was the thing that was kind of scary. So I was just like, so he passes it, and I'm telling him, hey, you passed it. And he's literally just driving still. He's just driving. And then I'm like, bro, I'm like, oh, hold on, my mom's calling me. Okay, guys, so again, I have the door like slightly opened, and I have my window rolled down, because I'm like, either way, I'm going to either jump through the window or I'm going to open up this door and roll out. Because the last thing that anyone is going to ever fucking do to me is like try to be on some weird shit like that. Because I'd rather lose my life protecting myself than someone taking it from me. So that's my mentality. And I'll take my chances, because I'm like, shoot, like, you just never know. Our body are resilient at times when like you least expect it. You know what I mean? So whatever. So I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, sir, you passed it. He's not responding back to me. He's just driving. And I'm like, sir, like, you passed it. And I'm like patting him on the back. And then he's like, ma'am, no. It's up here. I was like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's back there. And I like show him the GPS. I'm like, you passed it. And I was like, I'm going to jump out of this fucking car right now. I'm like, unless you make a U-turn right now. And he was like, no. Like, please don't. And I was like, turn the F around. Like, turn around. And he's like, shut the door. And I was like, no. I was like, I'm not shutting the door until you make a U-turn. I was like, make a U-turn. And he's like, but it's up here. And I'm like, bro, like, I mean, I don't know how he could have missed it. Like, even on his GPS system, it's like, it was like, make a U-turn. And so finally he's like, okay, ma'am, okay. I'm going to make a U-turn. Shut the door. I said, no. Turn around, and then I'm going to shut the door. So I'm like, okay. So then he's like, okay. So he makes a U-turn. I shut the door, but I make sure that my window's all the way down. So then, because again, I'm like, well, at least, again, if he pulls out a gun or whatever the situation is, like, I'm just like, I'm just like fearless at this point. I'm like, I will jump through the window, at least have something else that I can like go through if I need to. So then he turns around. Then he has to make another U-turn because he freaking passed it like I told him. So I was just like, bro, like, if I wasn't paying attention and if I wasn't alert, God knows where I would have ended up. You know what I mean? But and it was super late at night. So sometimes these Uber drivers will think that like you're drunk, and so like they're going to like take advantage of you or whatever. And it's just like, no, you got the wrong one. So he turns around, he drops me off there. And I was like, I didn't even want him to pull all the way in there. I was like, just drop me off right here, just like right in the front. I was like, drop me off right here. And then like I jump out of the car and I was like, bro, So then I tell like the guy, I think his name, I forget his name, it was like David or something. And I was like, bro, I'm like, this fucking Uber driver, I swear to God, he tried to kidnap me. Like, he wouldn't let me out of the car. Like, kept driving. Like, he was acting like he couldn't hear me. And so, like, I go in. He's like, okay, come in, let's have a drink. And then, mind you, like, it's at this point, it's already, like, it's, like, around 1-ish or whatever. And the club's about to close around, like, 2. And I'm like, honestly, I'm like, I'll have a drink. I'm like, but after this, I'm like, I want to be taken home right away. Like, I'm like, I'm not doing this shit no more. Like, I'm not. I was so shaken up, and he was just like, oh my, he's like, I'm so sorry about that. He's like, he was trying to calm me down and everything. And then, so I was like, can you please just take me home? Like, I just want to go back to my room. Like, Like, this shit was too scary for me. And he was like, yeah, like, no problem. Like, I'll take you. So then, like, we had a drink. I said hi to some of his friends. And then after that, he took me back to the Trump Towers where I was staying. And I came back and I told my girls about it, and they were like, what the fuck? Like, that's insane. So then ever since then, it's like I don't take Ubers like that the same way. Like, even like when I go out, like, I just will be the DD. So even when I go out now, like, I'll always be the one to drive. Like, we don't need an Uber. Like, I'll be the one to drive. Like, I don't have to get that drunk. It's never that serious. And plus, I've like slowed down on the drinking and all that good stuff. And so it's not that serious, but either way, that's why I don't really do Ubers anymore unless I absolutely have to. And so that's basically what happened in New York. And so then the second time that I go back to New York, because I have a course out there, this is like during the day. And so I had stayed like, I think I stayed 2 nights in Harlem, which I thought was Manhattan. Because it's like Manhattan is like Los Angeles, but I didn't realize that there's like a bunch of little cities in it, you know? So like on TV, when they say like Manhattan, it's like, or like how they say like Rodeo Drive or like Beverly Hills, like you think that that's like you think that that's just what it is. And so like I thought Manhattan was like this upper scale like city, and like that's all it was. No, Manhattan is just like a town, and then it has a bunch of cities inside of it. And so my Airbnb host, the second time that I went, he had canceled on me like 2 days before. So me not really knowing, you know, New York or anything like that, I had to find something else that was within my budget. So I ended up booking this spot that was in Harlem, which at the time it didn't say Harlem, it said Manhattan. And it looked nice. I mean, it was like an apartment, and like I was like, okay, cool, like this is fine. And it was within my budget. And it was in an apartment complex and like blase. So like, whatever, like I pull up and I'm like, okay, cool, like whatever. Like it looked a little ghetto, you know, but I was just like, it's all good. Like, I don't know, it was something that was so beautiful about it. So I trained those 2 days, and I did have to Uber obviously in the morning, which was fine because I felt way more safer because it's like traffic and I'm in New York City. So it's like, it took me like probably like 45 minutes to get like, I don't know, like 10 miles or some shit. Like it was crazy. But nevertheless, so after that happened, I had to go because I was also doing OnlyFans, guys. I was teaching and I was doing OnlyFans, and I had my girl, Tamina, who lives out in New York, and so it was going to be our first time shooting content together, and she has like millions of followers and stuff like that. And so I was like super excited to work with her, and we had became like really close, like just like cool, like I don't know, like just talking on the phone, and like she was like my Instagram New York bestie and like whatever. So finally we were going to meet. So mind you, this apartment initially, like when I tell you New York is it's so different in comparison to like LA. Like the LA living is way different. It's just way different. So Harlem, these apartments, really the way that they're constructed are so weird. Like there's like multiple stairs, and then in between the stairs you go right, you go left, you go right, you go up, you go left. There's all these different stairs, and you go all the way around, and there's one room here and there's one room over here. It's like, bro, it's insane. And mind you, I have like 4 suitcases with me and a carry-on. So I had to carry all this shit upstairs, like 3 flights of stairs, and I'm by myself. And so, like, that was a little scary for me. But I got through it. And then I remember, like, it was just so pretty, though. Like, New York is just so pretty. It's a vibe. And so I remember the second time that I took an Uber, it was midday. And, bro, the first time that I requested an Uber, it was a Mercedes-Benz van. I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and decline that shit real quick because I ain't getting in no damn Mercedes van. Like, you got me so messed up just to drive to freaking Long Island. Like, heck no. So, nope, decline that shit real quick because I'm like, you don't know if there's going to be people behind you. Like, I'm telling you, everything is a setup at the end of the day. You have to think like that. Like, you cannot think that, like, it's safe out there, guys. Like, people will take advantage of you, like, if you're not on your P's and Q's. Like, so that's why it's like I'm just always very aware of my surroundings, especially after that shit that happened the first time. So the second time, this Latin guy picks me up and he puts all my luggage into his trunk and blase, blase, blase. And everything is good. And I'm on the phone with my girl. And of course, you know, I have my little Uber maps and it's telling me it's going to take like 45 minutes to get there from, since I was in New York City or Harlem, it was another 45 minutes. So it's like the Valley to like, I don't know, like kind of OC with no traffic basically. But there was traffic. So that's why it took 45 minutes. Needless to say, I was tripping out because he had a shovel in the front of his passenger seat. And I was on, I think I was on live. And I was like, y'all, like, look at, like, the last time I almost got kidnapped. I'm like, so this time I'm going to be on live with you guys. So that way, just in case, you know, anything happens, like, you guys can see everything. Like, and I'm, like, showing the guy and, like, all this stuff. I think I still have it on my Instagram page. And then the next thing you know, I'm like, I was talking to them and I was like, you guys, but I'm really scared because he has a shovel in his front seat. I'm like, and I'm tripping out right now. Like, I have so much anxiety. Like, I don't know, like something like my brain is just like going in all these different directions. Like, what the hell is he gonna like bury me somewhere? Like, what, you know? So I was like, bro, I had to say something. So I was like, sir, I'm like, why do you have that shovel in your front seat? And then like he starts laughing and he's like, Mija, he's like, first of all, he's like, it's for the snow to take it off my car. And then like when I get home, like I shovel like the snow out of my driveway. And I started laughing and I was like, oh my God, like it makes sense. Cause it was a plastic one, but still like after like you are traumatized from like the first Uber driver in New York, like the second one was not going to get off the hook. So like we start laughing about it and he's like, you know what? He's like, you know, I'm a father. He's like, I have kids. He's like, I do this for a living. He's like, don't worry. He's like, I promise I'm going to get you to your location safe and blase, blase, blase. And so like we were like talking and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, the last time I'm like, you know, my Uber, like, he passed the location and he was acting like he didn't hear me and I had to force him to make a U-turn and whatever. And he was just like, no, he's like, don't worry. Like, I'm going to get you to your location safe. And I was just like, thank you so much. And he did get me there safe. But there are a few tips that I would say, like, when it comes to Uber driving. I mean, there are a few tips when it comes to Ubers. Like, you got to be careful. Even with girl ones, like it doesn't matter. Like, yes, girls, you do feel safer because they added that new feature with the girls. But let me tell you another story, a quick one. So when I was in Arizona, I was visiting my girl in Arizona, and then I was gonna go visit my friend, and it was probably like maybe like 15 or 20 minutes away from my cousin's house. And so I called the Uber and it was a girl and I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, you know, this girl pulls up with a man sitting in her passenger seat. And I'm like, excuse me? And she's just like, and I was like, no, I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, you can go ahead and cancel the ride. I'm like, she's like, no, it's safe. And I was like, nah. I'm like, I don't rock like that. I'm like, how are you gonna have another man in your front seat and you're Ubering? I'm like, that is so just like, no, that, I'm like, I can't trust you guys. I was like, nah, I'm like, we're good. And she's like, okay. She's like, okay, whatever. She just left. So then I had to get another one. And then this one that I ended up getting was called a Waymo. And so it was like an electric car that like drove itself. And so I was like, hell yeah, this is way better. And so like the car ended up driving me, and it was just me in the car. It drove me to my location. It was a little scary though, because I was like, damn, like, you know, like, and we didn't have to go on the freeway, so that was kind of cool, but it was just interesting how that worked. But when it comes to the Uber drivers, like, you, like, don't take your chances. Like, if you don't feel like something's right, don't get in. Always make sure that the child lock is down. So I believe when the child lock is up, it's unlocked, and then when it's locked, it's down. That's the number one thing that I check when I get into my Ubers is the child lock. And then when I get in, I always make sure like there's no lock on the windows, so I could like roll them up or roll them down, right? That's important. So make sure that you guys are taking precaution, and make sure that it's your Uber that you're getting into, because sometimes there's a lot of times that you'll like, because I've heard of stories, and I listen to like crime documentaries all the time, and it's like girls will be drunk and they'll go up to a car and they'll be like, oh yeah, like my name is like Melissa, like is it for Melissa? And then they're like, yeah, and they'll have like a fake Uber sticker that's on their car, and they're like, you pretty much get yourself caught up by, you need to let them say your name first, you know what I mean? And then you need to make sure that the license plate matches on the Uber app. So you gotta make sure that like you're doing like your homework too, because getting into someone else's car is very dangerous, and you just never know what could happen. And so that is the reason why I do not take Ubers anymore unless I absolutely have to, unless like I have a driver now, so thank God. But yeah, guys, just be careful with those Uber drivers. Be safe out there. And yeah, that's pretty much my story. And yeah, just be safe out there, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys like this, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you guys on the next episode. Peace.